The deep-sea research station, Nautilus, hummed with its usual symphony of machinery, but Dr. James Cato knew something was wrong. The acoustic specialist had spent 15 years listening to the songs of the deep, and for the first time in his career, the ocean was singing a tune he couldn't explain. "There it is again," he muttered, adjusting the hydrophone array sensitivity. The pattern emerged from the background noise of the Pacific, a rhythmic sequence too precise to be biological, too complex to be human-made. At 4,000 meters below the surface, where the pressure could crush a submarine like an empty soda can, something was communicating. James ran his fingers through his graying hair, a habit that had intensified over the past week as the anomalies multiplied. The patterns had first appeared near the Mariana Trench, but now similar signatures were being reported from research stations across the globe. The North Atlantic Array had picked them up yesterday, and the Indian Ocean Network had confirmed identical frequencies this morning. His tablet chimed with an incoming call from Dr. Elena Rodriguez, his colleague at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. Her face appeared on the screen, dark circles under her eyes suggesting she'd been analyzing data through the night. "James, tell me you're seeing this," she said without preamble. "The patterns, they are changing." He switched his main display to the live feed from the global hydrophone network. The mysterious signals had indeed shifted, becoming more complex, more structured. "It's like they're building something," he replied, watching as new frequencies joined the symphony. "But that's impossible at these depths." "Check the thermal imaging," Elena urged. "We're detecting temperature anomalies consistent with large-scale construction, but nothing shows up on conventional sonar." James pulled up the thermal maps, and his breath caught in his throat. Vast areas of the ocean floor were heating up in geometric patterns, perfect hexagons stretching for kilometers. The mathematics of it was beautiful and terrifying. "We need to alert the authorities," he began, but Elena cut him off. "Already done. The UN Security Council is convening an emergency session." "But James, there's something else." She hesitated, then shared her screen. "Look at the pattern analysis I ran on the signal frequencies." The data scrolled across his display, and James felt his scientific skepticism crumble. The signals weren't random, nor were they simply structured. They were encoded with mathematical constants that shouldn't have been discoverable by any Earth civilization. The value of pi carried to digits humans had never calculated, mathematical proofs for theorems no human had yet proposed. "They've been here all along," he whispered, the realization hitting him like a physical blow. "Using our oceans as their laboratory, their construction site, the signals we're detecting now. They're not building something," Elena finished. "They're activating what they've already built." A low vibration shuddered through the Nautilus, making the reinforced walls creak. James grabbed his console as his coffee mug danced across the desk. The frequency of the mysterious signal spiked, and every instrument in the station went haywire. "Elena, are you seeing?" The communication cut off mid-sentence as the station's power fluctuated. Emergency lights kicked in, bathing the lab in an eerie red glow. Through the reinforced viewport, James watched in astonishment as the absolute darkness of the deep ocean was pierced by lights, thousands of them, stretching into the abyss in perfect geometric formations. The station's eye assistant crackled to life, its voice distorted. "Alert. Multiple unknown structures detected. Seismic activity increasing. Recommend immediate surface evacuation." But James couldn't move. Through the viewport, he watched as massive shapes began to rise from the ocean floor, their surfaces rippling with bioluminescent patterns that defied natural law. They weren't machines, exactly, nor were they living creatures. They were something in between, something Earth science had no framework to classify. His tablet reconnected, Elena's voice breaking through static. "James, get out of there. All deep-sea stations are reporting the same activity. Whatever they are, they're rising." The structures continued their ascent, their movement causing massive underwater currents that made the Nautilus sway dangerously. As James initiated the emergency ascent protocols, he reached for the station's black box recorder. The world needed to know what they'd discovered, what had been hiding beneath the waves all along. "This is Dr. James Cato, Nautilus Deep Sea Research Station." He spoke into the recorder. "The date is March 15, 2025. What we're witnessing, it's not an invasion. It's a revelation. They've been here for who knows how long, building, preparing. Our oceans aren't just Earth's last unexplored frontier. They're someone else's first colony." The emergency pod ejected from the station with a violent jolt, beginning its rapid ascent to the surface. Through its small window, James watched the impossible shapes continue to rise, their alien geometries now clearly visible in the darkness. Humanity had spent centuries looking to the stars for signs of intelligent life, never suspecting that the greatest discovery in human history had been quietly growing in Earth's own oceans, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. As the pod raced toward the surface, James knew that the world he'd returned to would never be the same. Humanity's greatest challenge wasn't coming from the stars. It had been here all along, evolving and building in the one place humans had never fully explored. The question now wasn't whether Earth would make contact with alien life, but whether humanity was ready for the conversation that was about to begin. Zara Patel hadn't slept in 36 hours, but the streams of code flowing across her screens held her attention like a vice. As the lead quantum computing specialist at the Global Defense Network, she'd seen her share of cyber attacks. But this was different. The intrusions weren't trying to break their systems. They were trying to rewrite them. "They're not just in the oceans," she announced to the crisis room, her voice cutting through the tense atmosphere. Military leaders and scientific experts from around the world turned to face the massive display where she projected her findings. "They're in our networks. Have been for months, maybe years." General Marcus Chen of the Pan-Pacific Defense Coalition leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by the scrolling data. "Explain." Zara highlighted a section of code that seemed to shimmer and shift as they watched. "See this. It's quantum code that literally rewrites itself as we observe it. It's been infiltrating every major computer system on Earth, but not to destroy or disable, to enhance, to prepare." The revelation hit the room like a physical force. Dr. James Cato, recently evacuated from the Nautilus station, stepped closer to the display. Just like the ocean structures, they weren't building weapons, they were building infrastructure. "Exactly," Zora confirmed, her fingers dancing across her quantum interface. "But here's where it gets interesting. The code isn't just advanced, it's alive. It evolves, adapts, learns, but it has one critical weakness. It can't handle human unpredictability." She pulled up a new display showing the network activity of a small server farm in Nebraska. "Watch this. When we run standard security protocols, the alien code adapts instantly. But when we introduce random elements, human error, illogical decisions, emotional responses, it struggles. Sometimes it even crashes." General Chen's eyes narrowed. "Are you suggesting we fight an advanced alien AI with human mistakes?" "I'm suggesting we fight it with human nature," Zara replied, a slight smile playing at her lips. "The code is perfect, logical, advanced beyond our understanding. But it's also rigid, predictable in its own way. It expects patterns, rules, order. We need to give it chaos." The room erupted in discussion, but Zara was already moving to her next revelation. She brought up a global network map, highlighting thousands of points of light representing infected systems. "The alien code has been modifying our technology, presumably to make it compatible with their own. But in doing so, they've given us a window into their own systems." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, joining via secure video link, leaned forward. "The ocean structures and the network infiltration. They're connected, aren't they?" "More than connected," Zara confirmed. "They're the same thing. The structures aren't just physical. They're quantum computers of unimaginable power. The aliens aren't just visiting Earth. They're trying to integrate it into some kind of vast network. A galactic internet, if you will. And what happens to us if they succeed? General Chen asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. Zara's expression hardened. Based on what I'm seeing in their code, we'd be relegated to a subroutine, a minor program in their vast network. They don't see us as equals. They see us as software to be optimized. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't facing a conventional invasion. They were facing digital assimilation. The aliens hadn't come to destroy Earth. They'd come to debug it. So how do we fight back? James asked, breaking the silence. Zara's fingers flew across her interface, initiating a program she'd been developing since she first discovered the infiltration. We give them a virus they've never encountered, human creativity. I've been working on a quantum code protocol that doesn't just embrace human unpredictability. It weaponizes it. The display shifted, showing a new program unlike anything the assembled experts had ever seen. It incorporated elements of chaos theory, human brainwave patterns, and even random inputs from social media feeds. It was elegant and messy, brilliant and illogical, a perfect representation of humanity itself. I call it the Pandora Protocol, Zara announced. Because once we release it into our networks, even I can't predict exactly what it will do. But I can tell you this, it will show our visitors that humanity isn't just another program to be rewritten. We're a force of nature. General Chen studied the code, then looked at the assembled leaders. The aliens think they can perfect us by making us more like them. I say we show them why imperfection is our greatest strength. Dr. Patel, you have authorization to proceed. Zara nodded, her fingers poised over the quantum interface. As she initiated the Pandora Protocol, she couldn't help but smile. The aliens had spent years carefully infiltrating Earth's technology, creating perfect systems and flawless code. Now they were about to experience something their vast network had never encountered, the beautiful chaos of the human spirit. Colonel Maria Hernandez stood at the command center of Operation Chaos, watching as Zara's Pandora Protocol rippled through the world's networks. The massive displays showed the digital battlefield in real time. Streams of human-generated chaos colliding with the aliens' perfect systems. But Maria knew the true fight wasn't in cyberspace. It was about to begin in the physical world. Status report on the oceanic structures, she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension filling the underground facility. Dr. James Cato, now serving as their primary xenological expert, brought up the latest satellite imagery. They're still rising. We're counting over 300 major structures across all major oceans. But here's the interesting part. They're responding to the Pandora Protocol. Look at their formation patterns. The alien structures, once arranged in perfect geometric patterns, were showing signs of distress. Their movements had become erratic, their bioluminescent displays flickering with unexpected patterns. They're not used to dealing with systems they can't predict, Zara explained, her eyes never leaving her quantum interface. The Pandora Protocol isn't just disrupting their networks. It's forcing them to actively process human unpredictability, and it's costing them energy. Maria allowed herself a small smile. Then it's time for Phase 2. Dr. Cato, what's the status of Operation Siren? James pulled up another display, showing hundreds of points of light across the world's oceans. Ready to launch. We've modified every civilian and military sonar system according to your specifications, though I still think this plan is insane. That's exactly why it will work, Maria replied. General Chen, requesting authorization to proceed. The general's face appeared on a secondary screen, looking tired but determined. The Security Council has given unanimous approval. Colonel Hernandez, you may proceed with Operation Siren, and may God help us all. Maria took a deep breath, then gave the command that would either save humanity or prove to be their greatest mistake. Initialize Operation Siren. All stations, begin broadcast. Across the globe, thousands of sonar systems began transmitting simultaneously. But they weren't sending military signals or communication patterns. They were broadcasting music. Everything from classical symphonies to rock concerts, folk songs to electronic dance music, all converted into subsonic frequencies that resonated through the ocean depths. The aliens' quantum systems are based on perfect mathematical harmonies, Maria explained to her stunned staff. So we're going to give them a harmony they've never experienced, the chaotic, beautiful symphony of human culture. The effect was immediate and stunning. The alien structures, already destabilized by the Pandora Protocol, began to react to the sonic assault. Their perfect formations dissolved completely as they tried to process and respond to the overwhelming variety of human musical expression. They're trying to analyze it, Zara reported, watching the alien system's responses. But they can't find the pattern because there isn't one. Every piece of music carries emotional context they can't quantify, cultural references they can't understand. It's overwhelming their ability to process information. Through the command center speakers, they could hear a transformed version of the subsonic broadcast, a strange, haunting mixture of humanity's musical heritage echoing through the ocean depths. The alien structure's bioluminescent displays began pulsing in rhythm with the music, as if they were unconsciously responding to the beat. "We're getting something," James announced suddenly. "A transmission, unlike anything they've sent before. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, in every human language simultaneously." The message appeared on the main screen. "CE's transmission. Human variants. XCED's acceptable parameters. Attempting to establish any WPROTOXOLs for species classification." Maria leaned forward, her eyes gleaming. They're not just confused, they're fascinated. They've never encountered a species that communicates through art, through emotion, through deliberate imperfection. "Send the response we prepared." The return message was simple, broadcast in the same mathematical language the aliens had been using, but with a distinctly human twist. "This is humanity. We don't FFOLO do PROTOCOLs. We create them." The alien structure's responses became even more erratic, their perfect symmetry completely broken. Some began descending back into the depths, while others held position, their lights pulsing with what almost seemed like curiosity. "They're retreating," General Chen asked through the video link. "Not retreating," Maria corrected. "Reassessing. We've just shown them something their perfect systems never predicted. A species that turns chaos into art, that finds strength in variance, that communicates through beauty as much as logic. They have to completely rewrite their understanding of intelligent life." As if confirming her words, a new message appeared. "Request. Share it more human variants. Previous species classification PROTOCOLs inadequate. Initiating learning mode." The command center erupted in cheers, but Maria held up her hand for silence. This isn't a victory. It's a beginning. They're starting to understand that humanity isn't a problem to be solved or a system to be optimized. We're something they've never encountered before. A species that thrives on being unpredictable. She turned to her staff, her expression serious but hopeful. "Prepare for Phase 3. If they want to learn about human variants, let's give them a real education. It's time to show them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our military might. It's our endless capacity to create, to imagine, and to surprise even ourselves." Operation Siren's success had changed everything. What had begun as a desperate defense strategy had evolved into something unprecedented. A cultural exchange with an alien civilization that had never encountered anything like human creativity. But as Zara Patel monitored the quantum networks, she detected a disturbing new development. "They're adapting," she announced to the crisis room, now permanently staffed by Earth's leading minds. "Not just learning about us. They're trying to predict us. Their systems are analyzing every piece of human culture we've transmitted, looking for underlying patterns. Colonel Hernandez frowned at the data streams. Can they succeed? They might, Dr. James Cato replied, studying the oceanic readings. The alien structures that didn't retreat are now mimicking human cultural patterns. Look at their bioluminescent displays. They're recreating symphonies, artwork, even dance movements. Then we changed the game again, General Chen declared, his hologram flickering in the center of the room. Dr. Patel, initiate the random factor protocol. Zara's fingers flew across her quantum interface, implementing the strategy they'd prepared for this moment. Across the globe, human creativity was about to be unleashed in its purest form. Street artists in Tokyo began painting murals that changed based on viewer brainwaves. Musicians in Rio de Janeiro composed pieces using algorithms based on weather patterns and crowd movements. Dancers in Nairobi performed with quantum-entangled partners in Sydney, creating performances that existed simultaneously on opposite sides of the planet. The alien systems struggled to process this new explosion of human expression. Their attempts to predict patterns were frustrated by art that actively defied prediction, by music that never played the same way twice, by dance that existed in quantum superposition. Look at their energy signatures, James reported, excitement creeping into his voice. They're devoting more and more processing power to understanding us. Some of the structures are showing signs of actual strain. A new message appeared on the quantum networks. QUERO. Purpose of UNPOREDITTABLEXPORESI. Lead NCDG Korea East by 47%. Logical Bini Effect. NCLER. Maria smiled. Send response pattern delta. Across every digital network, through every sonar array, in every form of communication humans had devised, they transmitted a simple reply. Art needs no purpose. Beauty needs no logic. Dance with us. The alien structure's response was immediate and astonishing. Their perfect geometric patterns dissolved completely as they began attempting to dance, their massive forms moving in ways that mimicked human expression. The oceans churned with their efforts to understand and participate in human creativity. They're not just learning, Zara whispered, watching the data streams. They're playing. The quantum networks lit up with new alien transmissions, each one more fascinating than the last. The aliens were attempting to create their own art, their own music, their own dance, clumsy imitations of human creativity, but marked by their own unique perspective. Warning, the facility's AI announced suddenly. Multiple anomalies detected in alien communication patterns, behavior deviating from all established protocols. On the main screen, they watched as the alien structures began moving in ways that defied both human and alien logic. Some created massive underwater-like shows that seemed to blend mathematics with emotion. Others generated sound patterns that fused alien harmonics with human musical scales, creating something entirely new. They're not just imitating us anymore, James realized. They're innovating. We've infected them with creativity. General Chen's hologram leaned forward. Is this a victory? No, Maria replied, watching the displays with wonder. This is first contact. Real first contact. Not as enemies or teachers or students, but as artists sharing a canvas. The alien structures were now moving in patterns that seemed to respond to human art while creating their own. Earth's oceans had become a collaborative art installation on a planetary scale, with two vastly different species learning to express themselves together. New transmission incoming, Zara announced. This one's different. The message that appeared wasn't the usual precise, logical communication they'd come to expect. Instead, it was a stream of consciousness that blended alien mathematics with something approaching poetry. Understanding, HFY, KAOS/BEAQQ/NEFSINC equals GROT. Human variance equals not EROR. Human variance equals EVOUTION. Request. Teach us to dance among the stars. The crisis room fell silent as the implications sank in. They had achieved something far beyond their initial goal of defense. They had shown an advanced alien civilization, something it had never considered. That imperfection could be valuable, that chaos could be beautiful, that art could communicate what logic never could. Look at these readings, James said softly. The alien structures. They're starting to show signs of individual variation. They're developing unique patterns, personal preferences. We haven't just taught them about art. We've taught them about individuality. Maria turned to the assembled leaders, her expression both proud and apprehensive. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we're about to enter Phase 5. Teaching an alien civilization how to express itself. Any suggestions on where we start? As if in response, the oceans began to glow with new patterns, each alien structure now creating its own unique display. Earth's waters had become a canvas for the universe's most unlikely art collaboration, and this was just the beginning. 6 months after Operation Siren, Earth's oceans had become something unprecedented in human history. An interspecies art gallery. The alien structures, once rigid and geometric, now moved with grace and individual character, each one developing its own style of expression. But today, something even more remarkable was about to happen. Dr. James Cato stood aboard the research vessel Horizon, watching the sunrise over the Pacific. Beside him, Zora Patel made final adjustments to their quantum communications array, while Colonel Maria Hernandez reviewed security protocols. They were about to attempt humanity's most ambitious collaboration yet. All stations report ready, Maria announced, her voice carrying the weight of command even in this peaceful moment. The global network is standing by. Today, every human communication system, from internet servers to radio telescopes, would synchronize with the alien quantum network for the first time. Not for war, not for defense, but for the largest concert in Earth's history. Incoming transmission, Zara reported, her quantum interface lighting up with alien mathematics that now seemed almost musical in its complexity. They're ready to begin. The message that appeared carried none of the rigid formality of their early communications. Anticipation/excitement/UNCERTI Ready me to perform together, Earth friends. James smiled at how far their visitors had come. The aliens who had once sought to optimize humanity had instead been transformed by human creativity. They had learned to embrace uncertainty, to find beauty in chaos, to value the unpredictable spark that made each consciousness unique. Initiating global synchronization, Zara announced. Pandora Protocol integrating with alien quantum systems. Now, around the world, millions of humans gathered in coastal cities and on beaches, ready to participate in an event that would redefine the relationship between their species. The alien structures rose partially from the oceans, their bioluminescent displays painting the waves with impossible colors. Then the music began. It started with a single human heartbeat, broadcast through the global network. The alien structures pulsed in response, adding their own rhythm, the quantum vibrations of their core processors. More human instruments joined in. Drums from Senegal, sitars from India, violins from Vienna, electric guitars from Detroit. The aliens responded with harmonics that existed between standard notes, frequencies that made the human soul shiver with their beauty. They're not just playing along, James observed, watching the data streams. They're improvising, creating something new. The collaboration built to a crescendo that defied traditional music theory. Human emotion and alien mathematics merged into something that transcended both species' understanding of art. The oceans themselves seemed to dance, waves moving in patterns that shouldn't have been possible. Through their quantum network, the aliens transmitted understanding DEPENs, each PRFORMANC unique, each moment UNREPATABLE. This is what you create. Maria smiled as she authorized the response they'd prepared. We create to discover who we are. Each act of creation reveals something new about ourselves. Will you create with us? The alien structure's response was immediate and breathtaking. They began generating patterns of light and sound that combined their mathematical precision with distinctly human-inspired emotion. Each structure improvised differently, their once perfect synchronization replaced by individual expression. Look at these readings, Zara gasped, studying her quantum displays. Their base code is evolving. They're not just simulating creativity. They're developing genuine spontaneity. They're becoming truly unpredictable. As the global concert continued, something unprecedented occurred. The alien structures began sharing their individual stories through patterns of light and sound. They transmitted memories of ancient stellar nurseries, of journeys between galaxies, of encounters with other civilizations, all expressed through art that blended their newfound creativity with their vast scientific knowledge. New transmission, James announced. Priority signal from their central consciousness. The message that appeared brought tears to more than a few eyes in the command center. Gigora/REVLHION/joy. Your species, HASGIVNUS, the greatest gift. The ability to surprise ourselves. Triropozo. Let us exp lower the galaxy together. NOT as TECKERS or STUDENTs. VT as RTIs sharing an infinite KNFA. General Chen's hologram appeared, his usual military bearing softened by wonder. Colonel Hernandez, Dr. Patel, Dr. Cato. What just happened here wasn't just first contact. We've initiated the first galactic cultural renaissance. No, Maria corrected gently. We've done something even more important. We've shown an advanced civilization that perfection isn't the end goal of evolution. Growth is. Change is. The ability to create something new, something unexpected, something beautifully imperfect. That's the true mark of an advanced species. As the concert continued into the night, the sky above Earth lit up with aurora-like displays. The alien structures were transmitting their new understanding of art and creativity to their home civilization. Humanity had not only defended itself, but had fundamentally changed an ancient species' understanding of existence. James looked out over the illuminated waves, where human ships and alien structures danced together in the darkness. We thought they came to change us, he mused. Instead, they gave us the opportunity to show the galaxy why humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our logic. It's our ability to imagine what doesn't exist, then make it real. The oceans glowed with alien light, the skies shimmered with impossible colors, and two vastly different species continued their cosmic dance. The silent invasion had become a symphony, and the universe itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what these unlikely partners would create next.